Good morning, guys. So I was given a request to do a video on my battery mod, and that's what we're going to do today. So, without further ado, as you can see, their standard battery pack is essentially AA's. And this is their AA battery pack, which I bought an extra of these because when you build this, essentially what you're going to have to do is gut the inside of this completely out. Pop that cover off of there. You can see in here all these little ridges, all this up here. You're going to want to get a Dremel tool because all of this is going to have to get ground not only down flat, but if you look at this one here, and I haven't done that great of a job, but down through here you'll see a channel. I sort of beveled it out, and the reason I did that is that this completely flat with just these buttons ground off is still too thick for the battery. Once you start laying in your 18650 batteries in here, the height on the box this way without grinding down would have that battery popped up a little bit too far like that. And that's going to impede you putting this into the machine. It's kind of a snug fit. I mean, it fits pretty well. The standard cases, the way they are, they slide in and out with what seems like a little bit of play, but making this is going to use all of that up. So you're going to want to get like a grinding or a sanding wheel on a Dremel and then just grind these down. You can see here they got a little thin, so I put some epoxy on here to fill the hole back in because I took it too thin. Now this has got all the parts from here and here. I didn't use anything extra to build this with the exception of two different things. These weather stripping, self-adhesive weather stripping pieces, and of course this. This is just a little piece of plastic that came off of a jigsaw blade box. It was a little cover. It used to open up like this, and I cut what I wanted out of it as a battery holder. It just keeps them locked down in, because you'll notice once you get done doing this, the batteries will still not want to sit in there perfectly. You'll have to sort of make sure you get them in the right direction too, because you're going to get sparks if you don't. So there we've got the batteries in there, and you can see when I let it up, they just automatically want to start popping up like that. So I just set my thumb down on there like that, give this thing a little bend, slide it in, and right over them, just like that. They'll never get away. Super solid. Now, I don't necessarily recommend anybody build this, and I say that because I've heard, or I've been told, whether it's true or not, I don't know, but I've been told that the components of the TDI Beach Hunter are rated up to 16 volts. Let's turn this dude on here, and you'll get an idea of what we've got coming out of a set of fully charged batteries. 16.93. So I'm pushing 17 volts with this. And again, I've been told that the electronics inside the Beach Hunter are only rated up to 16 volts. I've never had a problem. I don't know if I'm taking away the longevity of the electronics by using more voltage, but seems to work fine, and it definitely reaches down there. Now these are 18650 protected batteries. The difference being, apparently up here in the end there are some electronics built into this battery up here that sort of just make sure that the voltage stays level. I guess that's what it's for. The other 18650 batteries that are not protected, I'm not sure if that's a good idea or not. I would rather spend a few extra bucks on the protected batteries to keep my machine from going back to the shop. But all I've done here, like I said, is I've used all these components came from this box here. I took this one and brought it down across there, you can see. After all this got gutted out, this didn't get in, just moved back to here. All this removed. These two got moved up here. Actually, it's reversed. So what I've done is I took these two, put them up here, took this one, put it down here. Now you gotta watch out for these little prongs here, because this is gonna be super snug with the batteries. You can see that these tongues are bent in. This one snapped off. I gave it a squeeze a little too hard with some needle nose pliers and popped it off, but it still fits, it still makes contact. No bumping of this machine against anything is going to make it not work. The voltage is always there. It seems really solid, so that's not a big deal. But I've used epoxy on a couple of spots in here. I got it a little bit thin, but I'm sure a hot glue gun would work peachy. I used a 2-part epoxy because I had to fill a hole anyway, and I don't know, maybe the hot glue would have worked there as well, but that is that. How much deeper it is above the standard or AA pack, I don't know. I suppose that a whole lot more time spent out in the field and I'd be able to figure that out, but I do think it is deeper. Probably at least by a couple inches. Seems like every time I go out with a low charge on my battery, more in line with what gets put out by these AA packs, just seems to be, I don't know, upwards of 2 to 4 inches less depth-wise. I don't know if that's just bad luck and I'm not finding anything deep, or is the voltage itself really so critical. But let's show you here what we're getting. There we go. Put that back together. Yeah, they're a little light. Need replacement on those, but yeah, it's been a great battery pack. I get about 6 hours out of it. Normally these will go about 3.5, 4 hours. This is giving me 6 hours now. At the end of the 6 hours, it just drops off and dies. It's gone. I don't know if that's a thing of these protected batteries doing that. Since they regulate the voltage, it may just drop right off when it gets to a certain level. But 6 hours, no problem. Again, I don't necessarily recommend you do it because, according to what I've heard, it exceeds the voltage limits of the machine. But I haven't had any problem, so I leave it up to you. Super easy. Just need a Dremel tool. Gut out all the things on the inside. Move the little brackets here, or contact points, to the outer edges, so that when you line the batteries up here, everything's touching. And you can use whatever you want. It's a spacer here. I liked the flexibility of the weather stripping here. And channel these out real well so that your profile isn't too high to get back into your machine. That was probably the first problem I came across. Once I put it all together, gutted it out, hooked it all up, got it running, tried to put it in the machine, it wouldn't fit. It was just too thick. It was like way up here somewhere. So I got out and ground all these in so it would seat down in there. Now it slides in there. It's a little bit snug. It doesn't rattle around, that's for sure. But all you gotta do is turn the machine upside down and give it a quick shake, and this will still slide right out. So no big deal. Can't really tell you how much it cost to build because I had all this stuff just already in the house, and the only thing I had to buy was the 18650 protected batteries. And I mean, they can be anything price-wise. Depends on who you get them from. But that's about it. Super easy to put together. Works well. And I think it's definitely deeper. But you can figure that out on your own once you get yours built. Otherwise, that's about it. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Thank you for the questions. If there is any other information on this or anything else, feel free to drop a message down below and I will see if I can answer it for you. Otherwise, that's it. Have a great day. Happy hunting.